Hello, in this video I'm going to be going over how flood revivers work, so let's get started. I am on the level keys on Legendary. I've got a reviver flood set up already. Here he goes. And so I'm going to take a look at him and see what makes a reviver a reviver. So if we look at his memory address, starting from the header down to offset 21C, the fourth bit here will be a 2 if this flood is a reviver. So if you look at any flood, you look at this offset, this bit, if it's a 2, it's a reviver. So we can test that out if we, he's definitely a reviver now. If I change this, the window's up, you can't see it, but I'm changing it. Okay, so now that fourth 2-bit is gone, and if I shoot him, he staggers, but he is not going to revive. So now that we know that, we can take a look at what influences the revival. So if we scroll up here to offset 110 and offset 118, offset 110 is the sum of the damage taken in the past 30 ticks. So if I shoot him a little bit, you can see that number goes up because he took damage. And after 60 ticks, it'll start to decay down to 0. This is going to be important later on, so remember that. And then this is just a timer that once he takes damage, that timer starts ticking up. After it gets past 60 ticks, it'll start decaying this value. So one other timer we need to look at is this offset 00D4, where when the flood is on the ground, that timer is going to increment. He's dead now. So if I shoot him, he falls down, he's on the ground, and it ticks up. So that will be used in conjunction with another timer at so we go pretty far. Okay, there it is. So offset 438 is a timer that I'll show you here. So I'm going to lower the game speed down to let's do 0.1 for now. So we're running at 1/10 speed. So if we keep an eye on that revival timer, I shoot him, timer gets set, it ticks down a couple times because his feet are grounded, and then once his body falls to the ground, it'll continue ticking down. Speed this up a little bit. Okay, we're almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now he's up. So once that timer hits 0, he's going to stand up. Now this revival timer only ticks down when the body touching ground timer is ticking up. So if we shoot him again and watch the body touching ground timer. So that's going to tick a couple times and it's going to hit 0, and then once his body fully hits the ground again, it's going to start ticking up and our revival timer is going to start ticking down. So that's pretty much the basis of what's going on with the timers in the memory of the flood. So now that we looked at that, we can take a look at a little code. So this, pause that for a second. So this code is run when the flood are being created. So it takes a look at their game data, their tags, and there are a couple of values, offsets for a stun threshold. We'll get back to that later on. A revival base time and a revival chance. So if all of these are set to something above 0, we're going to take a random number, compare that random number to the revive chance. The revive chance is always 0.4 for the flood. If it's greater than that, it's not a reviver. So we're going to negate the bits. If it's less than that, we're going to go to the else. We're going to AND it with, hey, there we go. There's our bit 2 in the 4th column. And then we AND that onto the flags. So that's how a reviver gets determined. So that's why the keys manip works, is because our RNG value is going to be the same because we do the same inputs, and we'll always get a reviver there based on that. So now I talked about this stun threshold. If we take a look at back at the values here, where'd my window go? Where is it? Oh no. There it is. That's too large. Okay. So if we go back and look at our damage taken last 60 ticks. So sorry, I'm flipping around a little here. So the stun threshold on the tag for the flood is set to 0.3. So if we go to the function where sorry. Oh geez. Sorry about this. I gotta re-find my function here. It's not good. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So, in this section here, so this code gets run when an enemy takes damage. So anytime we shoot our dude here, this stuff is going to run. And a couple of the things happening here, it checks, is it a reviver? We're aiming it against the O2000. Checks, is the stun threshold greater than 0.3? Or, sorry, greater than 0, so 0.3 is greater than 0. Our base time is 2.5. This stuff is specific to the individual flood instance, so it's going to check is his health more than 0. We can't revive a flood that has less than 0 health. And we check this damage taken recently value against the stun threshold. So that damage taken recently comes from the damage taken in the last 60 ticks. So that threshold needs to be passed in order for the reviver to fall over. So if I shoot him one more time, let's just do this. So I'm going to shoot him. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So he took 0.62 damage in the last 60 ticks. So that's going to be over our stun threshold of 0.3. So this then sets his So he took 0.6 damage. That's going to be over our stun threshold of 0.3. So then we set the revive timer. The revive timer is going to be 1 or a random number between 0 and 1 plus our revive base time, which is 2.5, and then that gets multiplied by 30. So we could have anywhere between 75 and 105 ticks on the revive timer.